Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is work. You guys can hear me? I'm already muted. All right. Well, according to Larry David, we've already passed the threshold of saying Happy New Year, but I will extend that anyway. Happy New Year to everybody. The record show that all board members are in attendance. Don't do that. I'll just speak loud. Okay, I do have one announcement I'd like to make before we begin. And at this time, I'd like the opportunity to congratulate Dr. Romanelli for being selected as one of only 35 educators across the United States to join the Global Leadership Summit this summer in Berlin. The trip is covered under full scholarship and it also includes a professional learning tour designed around creating a sustainable future. In discussion with Dr. Romanelli, we both agree that there are many elements of this experience that he can bring back to West Islip and apply to our work aimed at creating future-ready learners. We're both hopeful that this experience will help develop a framework that can be used for creating travel-based learning opportunities for our students. The trip will be a week-long during the month of July and will take place in Berlin, Rome, Pompeii, and Naples. This is both an extremely exciting and magical experience for Dr. Romanelli and West Islip Schools, and I would like to offer sincere congratulations. And I did ask if I could attend as board president, but not the case. So, on more exciting news as well as that, Dr. Romanelli is now going to present on the Capital Reserve vote we have coming up in January. And this presentation really is a couple of years of a lot of work and effort put into this, and it's a really great opportunity, not just for the students, but for everybody at West Islip.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Tussey. Ms. Plotty is going to share this presentation with us this evening. We do have a capital reserve vote coming up on January 24th from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. And we're just going to outline for you a couple of the key elements of the vote. And we will be sending out a postcard as well to everyone in the community within the next week, just highlighting the same information as well. So we will get that for it right now.
You're good? Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Dawn. My clicker's not working. You can move forward. Thanks. So the district will be holding a capital reserve vote on January 24th, Tuesday, for the community to vote on the use of the capital reserve funds, both capital reserve and capital reserve fund 2. The vote will be held at the West Islip High School in the lower gymnasium from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. And we will have dedicated parking spots for anyone who comes to vote. Capital reserves allow a district to save money for any future capital projects without having to fund those projects through either your annual budget or through a bond, both of which will actually impact taxpayers. The use of the capital reserve comes at no additional cost to taxpayers. Capital reserves are funded through surplus monies remaining at year end or from transfers of monies that are considered excess in other reserve funds. On the left, you can see the capital reserve was established and voter approved in May of 2019, and the district has been able to transfer funds into this reserve for the years ending June 30th, 2019, 20, 21, and 22. The community voted and approved to expend monies from this capital reserve fund in both the May 2021 and May 2022 years to complete 13 different projects. The Capital Reserve Fund 2 on the right-hand side was voter approved by the community in May 2022. The district was able to transfer monies into this reserve for the year ending June 30th, 2022, and we were also able to transfer monies into this reserve that were deemed in excess in 3 other reserves. And as you can see here, those are the Workers' Compensation Reserve, the Unemployment Reserve, and the ERS Reserve, which is the Employee Retirement System Reserve. So the total of both of these capital reserves as of June 30th, 2022, because that's the end of our last fiscal school year, was $8,750,686. The proposition on the January ballot is to use funds from both of these capital reserves to do the following projects during the 2023-24 school year, which begins July 1st. At the high school and the middle schools, we will be installing air conditioning mini-split units. At all elementary schools, we will be installing air conditioning window units and a few mini-split units where necessary. At the middle school and elementary schools, we will be replacing the building fire alarms. And it's important to note that that same type of project was approved just this past May for the high school. So after these are complete, our entire district fire alarms will have been updated. District-wide, we will also be upgrading the building management system controls in each building. This is a necessary upgrade in conjunction with the district-wide air conditioning installation. So all of these projects are estimated to cost approximately $8.4 million. It's important to note that upon completion of these projects, if there are any unspent funds, they are simply returned back to the capital reserve fund in which they came. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you. Turn this around a little.
And I just want to thank Ms. Bellotti for the presentation, also for, it does take many years of responsible budgeting to build up a healthy capital reserve that we do have the option to use during this vote. So thank you to her for all of her hard work in that area.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much, and thank you also to the board. We're going through a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions, and this is just the way that we thought we could use our money to just enhance the safety and the overall climate of the schools on multiple different levels. So with that being said, we do have one more discussion item that we added to the agenda tonight, and that's an update on the Sarah property. I know Mr. McCann was very excited to give this update, so I would like to turn it over to him.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. Happy New Year to you too. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to give a quick update. Usually we would give an update on projects like this during the Building and Grounds Committee. The way the holidays fall, we didn't have a Buildings and Grounds Committee before this meeting, so the last one was back in early December. The next one is January 24th, but I know the importance of this project. I just want to give kind of an update on some of the discussions that we have as to what that property may or may not become. If you remember, in this summer and prior to that, we had created a community advisory committee that got together and thought of all the different options that we could potentially do with that property just north of Sunrise. So they made 3 recommendations to the board in August, and one was to explore the possibility of a technology and vocational school similar to like an in-house BOCES program for our students here in West Islip. The second was to potentially sell the land for single-family homes, and the third was to repurpose and lease the building similar to the Westbrook and Kearney buildings. So with that, the board has started to explore the first option, which was the technology and vocational school. We felt that that would benefit the students and the community the most as the first option. So we're taking a look at that, but it's not a process that can be done either overnight or even over a couple of months. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what we're working on, because as we talked about capital reserves and dollars spent. So Dr. Romanelli and the educational team has been providing to the board numbers of the current enrollments in all the BOCES programs for our current students. Well, what's good is you'll hear it tonight that we're actually expanding some of those offerings for next year outside of the Becerra property. And then we're taking a look at some of the technology programs that we offer. So the goal is to create what that school would look like in terms of the attendance, the number of students, staff, and then from there start to sketch out what the building would need to look like. Then go to architectural designs and really bringing a team to make sure that the building can hold what we maybe propose. After that, we'd have budgets and dollar amounts and find out how that would be funded, either through a bond or maybe potentially looking at a private partnership with a technology company. We're not near those stages yet, because the first is design of what that could be, and then we'll come down and start to put numbers and architectural drawings to the property. We feel that if done properly, we could also then keep the fields for use for all the community events and really have a differential in West Islip schools that not too many, if any, other schools on Long Island have. So that's where the efforts that we're putting into it. Again, it's a long process, and I know people ask me when I'm out in town, what's the progress? Really, that's the progress. It's going to take some time to do it, but if we do it right and we, it works out financially, I think it could be a benefit for the students and even the community for West Islip. So we just wanted to give that update. We do have a Buildings and Grounds meeting on the 24th, which is actually the day of the Capital Reserve vote. So just wanted to give that update, and feel free if you had any questions at the end, you can always answer that. But I know we didn't have a Buildings and Grounds meeting, but there were some questions about that, so we are working on that. So we appreciate everyone's input on that.
All right, thank you, Mr. McCann. At this time, I would like to invite anyone from the public who would like to come up and speak on an agenda item. We do not have any, okay. Can I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes of the December 8th, 2022 regular meeting?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, looking around, we see a lot of our young athletes and scholars here today that are to be recognized for their outstanding achievements. I know Mr. Horan is here who would like to be a part of this. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Romanelli for 1 second.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. Yes, we have a number of students this evening in the area of athletics and music that we'll be honoring. And I'd first like to call to the podium Mr. Tim Horan, who's our Director of Athletics.
Good evening. Great to be with you tonight. I have to say, I really liked the atmosphere when I walked in here tonight, the music and the slideshow. Really, a great atmosphere. So we had another successful fall sports season. We had over 800 student athletes in grades 7 through 12 participating on our 35 fall athletic teams, and it was a significant increase this year back to our normal numbers from when we were transitioning through COVID, where they had dropped off, for a little bit. But over 800 was a great turnout for this year. And in order for that to happen, we have to have great educators working with our student athletes, and I can't thank our coaches enough for providing our student athletes a positive, rewarding educational experience so that they can hopefully successfully become young, successful adults. So moving forward, also a special recognition to our varsity fall sport teams. All 13 fall varsity teams were recognized by the New York State Public High School Athletic Association as being scholar athlete teams, meaning their team average was 90 or higher. A great, great accomplishment to have 100%. So on behalf of the Board of Education and Dr. Romanelli, I'd like to recognize our fall varsity athletes who were recognized by their respective coaches associations in Suffolk County as receiving all-county honors. So what I want to do is go team by team, recognize the student athletes. When I call your name, if you could please come forward to the front of the dais here, receive your certificate, remain standing up front, and then once we recognize all of our sport teams, we'll take a group picture together. So without further ado, and I know many of our student athletes are very, very busy. They have a full schedule, they've got a lot of things going on, and many times they have to sacrifice a recognition like tonight because they have to go to another sporting event, or they have to go to a travel event, or they have some other type of thing where they're focusing on their academics, so they'll be recognized as a scholar athlete team on the next team. So for those student athletes that can't make it, I'll make sure I get the certificates to them after tonight's recognition. So without further ado, starting out, I'd like to recognize our girls varsity gymnasts who were recognized all county by their respective coaches associations. Amelia De Benedetto. Emily Ball. I feel like, what's his name, Spicer, when he was President Trump's Secretary of Speech, moving the podium here. Victoria Muller. Girls varsity tennis, all county, Katie Fix. Abigail Lamb. Moving on, recognizing our girls varsity soccer player who was recognized as All-County, Isabella Tomio. Boys varsity soccer, recognized All-County, Derek Gillard. And Aiden Lodi. Boys varsity soccer recognizes academic All-County, Vincent Greco. Boys varsity volleyball recognized All-County, Eric Burciaga. Seamus Smith. Colin Beeland. And Graham Lebec. Also, point of interest, Graham Lebec and Seamus Smith were also recognized as from the All-County tournament team as well, so congratulations to them. Girls varsity volleyball, All-County, Lola Canopa. Recognizes academic All-County, Braden Alessi and Emma Fallon. And special recognition to Lola Canopa and Braden Alessi as also being recognized as All-County tournament team. All-County varsity football, Chris Pirapato and Patrick Eden. All-County varsity field hockey, Kelsey McCabe. And Gabby Abatello. And recognize All-County honorable mention and also members of the All-Tournament Players Team, varsity field hockey, Emma Karanji. And Avery Lanzarata. We had an extensive number of other student athletes that were recognized with other different honors from their respective coaches associations, and many of the student athletes that stand in front of you here tonight were also recognized with an extensive number of additional honors as well, where they received those at their postseason awards dinners with their teams, as well as their respective coaches associations in Suffolk County. So congratulations to our fall student athletes for All-County honors.
Picture again, Mr. Hearn.
Got enough room?
I think you should.
Our second group of students being honored this evening are our music students, and coming to the podium right now is our Director of Arts and Music, Mr. Eric Allweiler.
Good evening. It gives me great pleasure to recognize our top music students at West Islip High School. Although we have dozens and dozens that have been selected for various honors throughout the year, we did focus on the top 16, and like Mr. Horan said, unfortunately a couple of them are actually at other music events tonight, like the Long Island Youth Orchestra, but hopefully most of our students will be here. Recognizing students for their accomplishment on the state and national and county levels. And before the pandemic, it was actually slightly easier to get into the groups. It's actually more selective now. There are fewer groups and the groups are smaller, so it's really sensational that we have so many students. So when I call your name again, please come up. Our first student, Marissa Bile, for All County Chorus. Ruth Boucher for All County Chorus and All State Mixed Chorus. Carly Brunnen-Graber, All County Chorus. Leanna Chrissy, All County Chorus and All State Alternate. Jack Dyer, All County Chorus and All State Mixed Chorus. Vivian Gallagher, All County Orchestra and All State Orchestra. Isabella Grimaldi, All County Chorus. Thomas Kerrigan, All County Band and All County Jazz Ensemble. Nicholas Licurdo, All County Orchestra. Kevin Morey, All County Band. Lauren McCann, All County Chorus. Christopher Palazzo, All County Band. Braden Pritchard, All County Band. Caitlin Salas, All County Chorus. Sophia Stellick, All County Band, All State Symphonic Band, and All Eastern Jazz Ensemble Alternate. Aaron Tomasello, All County Chorus and All State Mixed Chorus. On behalf of the music department and all your teachers and the school board and Dr. Romanelli, congratulations on your tremendous accomplishments. We are very, very proud.
Stand for a quick photo, everyone. We got some more sentences.
You know, not only the smiles on all their faces that were fantastic and proud of their achievement, but the smiles on the faces of mom and dad. I think a lot of credit goes out to both of you for all the work that you always do in driving the kids to and from practice and rehearsal, and I don't think that can be overlooked. We all know what important role you guys play in their lives, so I'd like to congratulate mom and dad as well as your great daughters and sons. All right, so now that the really, really fun stuff is over, we are going to move into the personnel section. I'd like to invite Mr. Taylor up.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. I'm going to read the first appointment and then I'll go through the rest. May I have a motion for the approval of the probationary appointment of Carrie McGinnis, elementary effective January 1st, 2023 to August 28th, 2026.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
I don't think Ms. McGinnis is here. May I have a motion for the approval of the rest of the personnel agenda as listed in your packet?
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Taylor. We'll move on to the curriculum update. Mrs. Morrison.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. Good evening, everybody. As you know, we have been implementing the Foundations program in our pre-K, K, and first grade classrooms. We are now preparing to start training for the second half of this school year for our second grade teachers for implementation of Foundations into the second grade next year. So we're really looking forward to seeing the progress that our students are making continuing as they go into second grade with their teachers next year. Standards-based grading at the elementary school is progressing. Report cards were shared with parents in December at parent-teacher conferences. Those practices will be reviewed towards the spring to make sure that what we have in place for standards-based grading as well as the report cards is effectively working and to determine if we need to make any appropriate changes. Just a friendly reminder that we do have a standards-based grading parent academy scheduled for Wednesday, January 11th at 6 p.m. in the Paul J. Below Auditorium. The first meeting of the District Equity Committee took place on December 5th. It overviewed the importance of ensuring that all students in every school building feel supported in the school environment. The committee will be meeting again on February 13th. All minutes from the meetings will be posted on the district website going forward. And as previously mentioned, we do have a DEI Parent Academy on Thursday, January 12th here at 7 p.m. in Beach Street Middle School. Great news from the high school business department. In December, 1,300 students from 28 schools in Suffolk County competed in DECA's virtual regional competition. 14 DECA students from West Islip High School placed in the top 10 of the various events they entered. Those events included business law and ethics team decision making, human resource management, accounting applications, and principles of finance, among many others. So congratulations to our high school DECA students for their accomplishments and to Mrs. Sadat, the DECA advisor at the high school. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Morrison. We'll move on to our report of board committees. Mr. Antonello will present on the Education Committee.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Tussey. Good evening to everybody. The Ed Committee met on Tuesday, 7 o'clock at Beach, in attendance from myself, Grace Kelly, Debbie Brown, Pete McCann, Anthony Tussey, Tom Pompatello, as board members. Also in attendance, Dr. Romanelli, Superintendent, Mr. Dawn Morrison, Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Elizabeth Bellotti, Assistant Superintendent, and Mr. Brian Taylor. The first item discussed were BOCES requirements for the next school year, 2023-2024. There was discussion about changing some of the BOCES to focus on providing some more opportunities for students to go. There was talk about reduction in absences in order to allow more students to go. The addition of more programs into the BOCES program. For example, armory and pilot training. Sounds good. The second topic was the discussion about West Islip Cares staff website, which has been updated to help the staff with resources for social emotional help during the school year. The third item was a discussion of the Ames Web progress of K through 8, which is happening in the last weeks of January. This will be followed by staff discussions on the results of those tests. The fourth item discussed was the ninth grade orientation for January 23rd of 2023. The idea was to revamp it for this year, make it a little more interactive for the parents and the students. The fifth item discussed was Apple certification program for teachers. There are 30 teachers who have volunteered to get Apple certified. This will help these teachers with Apple programs that they can use in the classrooms. The sixth item discussed was the most likely to succeed film screening, which will be held on March 21st at 7 p.m. for parents. This will be followed by a panel discussion. The goal is for people to watch this film and for all the stakeholders here in West Islip
to help with discussion of completing a profile of what we would like to see as far as graduates when it comes to their character traits and requirements for graduation. The meeting ended at 7:28.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Antonello. On to the Finance Committee report from Ms. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. The Finance Committee met on January 3rd. Members present were myself and Pete McCann, and board members in attendance were Rich Antonello, Debbie Brown, Tom Compitello, and Anthony Tussey. Administrators present were Dr. Paul Romanelli, Lisa Pilati, Bill Morrison, and Brian Taylor. The purpose of the meeting was to review the warrants for the month and discussion of pertinent fiscal matter. The meeting was called to order at 7:28. Following were presented and accepted by the committee: the treasurer's report, school district funds for November, payroll summary for November, internal claims audit report for December, system manager audit trail 12/1/22 to 12/21/22, payroll certification to 12/16/2022, and review of warrants. Reviewed board agenda reviewed board agenda financial items: approval of budget transfers, approval of surplus one timpani drum at West Islip High School, which was in poor condition, approval of request for a proposal for Suffolk Transit Service Incorporated, approval of resolutions, receipt of independent accountant's report on information technology, detailed testing dated November 18th, 2022, and the risk assessment update, report dated December 8th, 2022, from Cullen and Danowski. Approval of the corrective action plan in response to internal auditors, reports dated November 18th, 2022, and December 8th, 2022. Approval of 2022-2023 contracts: Long Island Tutorial Services, South Huntington Union Free School District, District of Location, District of Residence, Donald Geffner, PhD, CCCSP, Powell Mine Equestrian Incorporated. And the discussion items were: the recent request for proposal was for home-to-school van and bus, summer athletics, and field trip transportation for West Islip School District. The RFP had one response from Suffolk Transit Service, who were awarded the 5-year contract. The committee discussed the income eligibility for real property tax exemptions for persons aged 65 and older and persons with disabilities and limited income. Regarding both exemptions, the town of Islip increased the maximum income limit for 50% exemption from $29,000 to $50,000 in October 2022. West Islip School District has current maximum income limits of $24,000 for both exemptions. The committee has agreed that the district will increase the income limit from $24,000 to $29,000 through a board resolution after a public hearing on February 9th, 2023. This change will take effect for the 2023-24 tax year. The meeting was adjourned at 7:38 p.m.
Thank you, Mrs. Kelly. Moving on to the Special Education Committee, Mrs. Brown.
Good evening, everyone. The Special Education Committee met on January 4th at 8:30 a.m. via teleconference. In attendance were myself, Board Member Ron McGinnis, Administrators Dawn Morrison, Jean Dowling, and Gail Doherty. We discussed updates to student placements in special education. We discussed budgeting for the next school year, which is ongoing. We were informed that annual reviews will begin in the next few months. We discussed parent concerns from our last Board of Ed meeting with respect to the ICT program and the fact that it's not currently offered at all elementary schools. ICT is offered at one middle school currently, and ICT is not currently offered at the high school. It is important to this board that we fulfill our mission that all students learn, and in that vein, we're having active discussions on how we can improve programs to best meet the needs of all students. With budgeting season upon us, this is a great time to have these conversations. Finally, we discussed the special education tour Mrs. Morrison set up for the board. The tour took place on December 12th. We had the opportunity to visit West Islip High School and view the consultant ICT model. We stepped into a science class and watched kids shake sugar cubes into spheres. We sat in on a social studies lesson. We stopped into one of the special classes at the high school as well. We visited Udall 6th and 7th grade ICT classes. We were able to see and feel real papyrus. Say that right? Papyrus. We visited the 6th grade special class also. Next, we visited Banatuck, where we were able to step in and observe grades 1 through 4 special classes where they were working on early literacy skills. Our tour concluded at Bayview, where we visited 1st grade ICT and 5th grade special class, and Bayview looked beautiful. It was all decked out for the holidays. Our funniest moment was when we arrived at one of the schools and a student asked us if we all came together in a clown car. But in all seriousness, the tours do mean a lot to us. It gives the board an opportunity to have direct communication with the staff and the students and to see all the great work happening in the district. The meeting adjourned at 8:45, and the next committee meeting will be February 8th at 8:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. Before we move into the business items, I would be remiss if I did not say this. I look up and I see Mr. Jablonski in the back, and I apologize for not acknowledging this earlier, but the day before break, Mr. Jablonski ran the Student Senate holiday party. And I think it was the first time, you said, what, 3 years it was able to take place? And I was very fortunate to be a part of that. And I was just blown away at what an event it was for the children of West Islip, our special ed, elementary and middle school special ed students. All the kids that participated in high school did a fantastic job. It was well run and organized. And I just want to tip my cap and say thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of that. And congratulations to you and your students for putting that together. I will turn it over to Ms. Pilati for business items.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. May I have a motion for the approval of budget transfers 4268 to 4269 in the general fund?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the request for proposal 2300 for school bus and van transportation for the 23-24 school year for 5 years?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the contract for 2022-23 as listed on the agenda?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
May I have a motion for the approval of the surplus timpani drum at the West Islip High School?
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the President's Report, where there are several approvals needed. The first will be an approval of resolutions regarding receipt of the independent accountant's reports on information technology detailed testing dated November 18th, 2022, and the risk assessment update report dated December 8th, 2022, from Cullen and Danowski.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion, please, for the recommendation that the Board of Education approve the corrective action plan in response to the internal auditor's reports dated November 18th, 2022, and December 8th, 2022, submitted by the Assistant Superintendent for Business.
So moved.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion of approval for the State Environmental Quality Review Act, the SEQRA resolution, which is the replacement and upgrade of existing fire alarm devices and associated wiring at West Islip High School, and the construction of a new parking lot addition at Paul J. Blue Elementary School.
So moved.
Discussion? Now that's, I'm going to have a discussion, that's just the write-up or the parking lot?
Environmental approval.
Just the environmental approval, making sure, I guess everything is quality and up to code and whatnot. Okay, very good, thank you. And then, second that was discussion from anyone. All approved?
Aye. One of those.
What am I saying?
We know it.
Thank you. Opposed? None, motion carries. Have a motion of approval, please, for the personnel for a special district meeting, January 24th, 2023.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. I still don't know what I said there. All right, we're moving on to the superintendent's report. Dr. O'Malley.
Thank you, Mr. Tussey. We are looking forward to a great 2023 for all of our students, staff, and families in West Islip, and really so many great things to come. So we are very, very excited about a great year ahead of us. That was a unique way of not saying Happy New Year, Mr. Tussey. Just wanted to
3 days, it's my
say how much I enjoyed this morning. Ms. Morrison and I were able to go over to Bayview Elementary School and read to all of our kindergarten and first grade classes there. We read The Pigeon Rides the Roller Coaster, if you're familiar with Mo Willems' work, and we were able to give the students a little pullback roller coaster car. We're planning on setting up some different activities at the other 3 elementary schools, and then we'll try to think of something a little more age appropriate when we move up to middle schools and high schools as well. So that was a great way to start the day, and I think we had as much, if not more fun than the students during the activity, so really, really great morning today. Mr. Antonello mentioned the most likely to succeed community film screening in his education committee report. This is really an event that we're very, very excited about. I've mentioned a number of times in our board meetings throughout the year that our administrative team and teachers across the district are reading the book, What Schools Could Be, by Ted Dintersmith. This book is really a continuation of that, talking about what happens when we have a conventional school system in an innovative world, and all different ideas that we can take, and as a community come together to talk about what we want our education system to look like in West Islip, and what we want our graduates to possess from our school district when they leave the district and go out into college or into the career fields or into the armed forces and things like that. So we're very excited about that event. It's March 21st, 7 p.m. And it is all parents invited, staff. There is a little bit of foul language, so we're saying middle school and high school students only if they'd like to attend. Or we'll set up some sort of disclaimer if elementary students attend or something along those lines. But it should be a great night. And it really is timely. We've been talking a lot about it. We've heard about ChatGPT, the artificial intelligence chatbot that is out there. If you haven't, take a look at it. But this is artificial intelligence that you can ask now to write a 200-word essay on the character development of Holden Caulfield in Catcher in the Rye. And this technology will spit out a 200-word essay. You can put it in on Turnitin.com, and it's not marked as plagiarism because it looks like a unique work, although it was produced by artificial intelligence. You can ask this technology to write an episode of The Office in which Michael Scott is a yoga instructor, and it will give you the full half-an-hour screenplay with everyone's lines. It's actually pretty funny. So the robot does have humor as well. So the point of bringing this up is that with technology changing in the world that we live in, we started many past few years talking about asking better questions in our classrooms, and questions that students can't Google the answers to and just simply look up. Now it's really shifting to more of a authentic type assessment, to performance-based assessments. And I think that this community film screening will be a great way for us to have those sort of discussions about how education evolves in an innovative world. So we're really looking forward to that evening. And as Mr. Antonello mentioned, we will be using the work from our reading and from that film to create a West Islip profile of the graduate, and we're excited about that. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Romanelli. At this time, I just want to remind everyone again that January 24th, 2023 will be the date of the Capital Reserve proposition vote. So I do encourage everyone to come out and vote. And I have no cards for any comments or statements regarding any public questions. So at this time, I'd like a motion to adjourn to executive session.
Someone.
Discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Good night, everybody. Have a great night. Congratulations again, everybody. Good night.